Hi everyone, welcome to today's video where we are going to do part 6 in the series that we're doing 3 Excel functions you need to know. So stick around to the end because we've got some interesting functions in this video. But let's jump right in. So our first function that we're going to discuss in this video today is the round function. And this is a great function to use in Excel when you want to return a number rounded to a specified number of digits. So this works incredibly well, and I know the round function has a couple of variants as well. You've got the round up and round down function, so you've got a lot of options with this, but let's dive right into this function to show you exactly how the round function works. So you can see we've got a couple of lines of data here, and this is just a bunch of random numbers that we want to use this function on to demonstrate exactly how this works. So in your cell where you want your data, you're going to type in the equal sign. We're going to type out the function round, and you can then just press the tab button to get that function going in Excel. And once you're in there, you can see the function asks for which number you want to use this function on. So let's just reference back to our cell A1. So this A1 number will be our number where we are going to experiment with this function on. So once you separate this with a comma, you can see the function asks us what is the number of digits you want to round to. So you can either, let's do quite simple. Let's show you exactly, let's type 2 digits. So we will effectively be rounding this number down to 2 digits. And once you then just complete your formula with a bracket and you press enter, you can see exactly how this works. So you can see the second number that was after the comma has been rounded up in this function. And this works brilliantly. You can then, if you want to do 1, you can do 1 as well. And even if you, let's just complete this. So even if you want to, for example, change this value to, let's say 0. So if you type in a number digit 0, you will effectively round to the closest number. So as you can see in this example, we've rounded to 2 in this instance because we've got a 2.3. But if we just autofill this, you can see the values of our second number has actually rounded up to 14, and the rest of them has done the same throughout. So this is an amazing function that you can use in Microsoft Excel, and it's quite easy to use, and it's a great way that you can get your numbers rounded to down to specified values after the comma, or either solid integers as well. Our next function that we are going to discuss is the COUNTBLANK function in Excel, and this works brilliantly when you have tables of data or a large data set and you want to determine if this data set is kind of incomplete or either you are missing too much data. So as you can see, I've just drawn up this little section of data here, and we've got a couple of blank cells spaced throughout this. So it works quite simple. Let's jump right into this so that you can see exactly how the COUNTBLANK function works. So in the section that you want your result, you're simply going to type in the equal sign, and we are going to type in the COUNTBLANK function. And once you've entered this function in Excel, you can see the function asks us for the range that we want this function to be applicable to. So let's say we want our range to be only this temperature column. You can then just select that range, and you can then just close your bracket and finish up that formula. So you can see we've got 3 blank sections in this data set. I know this is quite a small data set, but if you're working in large data sets and you need to determine what type of data you have, if it's inefficient or you need to take some more data samples, this COUNTBLANK function works brilliantly. And even if you can see our range is selected here, so even if, let's say, let's just remove some of the data throughout here. You can see this option just increase as the blank options increase into our data set. So let's leave it at this. And for the next option, I am going to expand this data set. So I'm simply just going to drag it over to this section. And if so, this works whether you are selecting one specific column of range for your data or even a whole bunch of lists that you can then count your blanks in. So you can see we still have our blanks there, but as you start to remove data, we can see that this COUNTBLANK function keeps on counting all of our blanks. So this is a great option, as I said, when you're working in large data sets and you need to do data analysis. You can use this COUNTBLANK function to work out exactly how many empty cells you have got in your data set. And if you want to calculate even the percentage of data that is missing, you can do that. I'm not going to explain that equation to you. You can simply use this COUNTBLANK result that we've got here and divide it by your total data points to get a percentage of data that is missing from your data set. So I hope this function works brilliantly if you are working in data analysis, and please let us know if you actually can use this function in your day-to-day life. So our last function that we will be discussing today is the replace function in Excel. And this is a great function that you can use when you are working in Excel. This has a lot of possibilities that you can do. You can effectively replace text and strings with other text or even numbers, or as I said, there are a lot of opportunities and possibilities when working with the replace function. And I'm going to discuss two examples today, but I know there are a couple of options that you can do with this function. And if you want to see a full video on this function, please let us know in the comment section down below, and we will try and make a replace function video for you to discuss all the possibilities of this replace function. But let's dive right into this, and that you can see exactly how this replace function works in Microsoft Excel. So in our results section, wherever you want your data or your new text string to be, you can then just type the equal sign and you can type your function, the replace function. And once you've did that, you can see this function asks us for the alt text, and this effectively just means which text are you going to edit when you are working with this function. So for this example, we will be referencing back to this A2 cell, and this will be our alt text that we want to change. So once you select that, you can then just delimit this with a comma, and then the next option would be our starting number, where we are going to start to replace the text. So in this instance, we are just going to start at the number 1 for this example, so that you can then just see the basics of this. And in the next example, we will show you another option that you can use when working with the replace function. So our starting number is going to be number 1, and then with another comma to delimit this, we will move to our next section, and this is going to be our number of characters. So the number of characters that you need to select is going to be effectively the characters that you want to replace. So in our example, we can see that we have an N and an O as our text. We've got a point, and we have a space that separates our numbers from our original text. So in this instance, we are going to need 4 characters that we want to replace this with. I'll just show you and demonstrate exactly what this means. So once you selected your 4 characters, then the function needs to know what is your new text that you want to replace with. So remember I said the number of characters are the characters that we are going to replace. So effectively how this works is our starting number is where the replace function is going to start, and the number of characters is going to be, we've selected 4 characters, so 4 characters from our first character. That is the characters that we are going to replace with new text. And for this example, we actually don't want to replace it with any text, so we are just going to add 2 of these double quotes without a space in between them to then just demonstrate to you exactly how this works. So once you've entered your replace function and you've filled all your properties, you can simply just press enter, and now you can see exactly how this function works. So we have reference to our alt text, and our starting number is going to be at number 1. So that will include the n at the start of this text, and then of course the number of characters, as I said, is going to be equal to 4. So just to demonstrate to you, we have here in our original text, we have our N and our O, so that's 2 characters. Our point tells it counts as a character, and our space between these text also counts towards a character. So if we replace this with a dash to show you exactly how this works, the result will stay the same, because we still are going to replace these 4 characters that you can see there. And our new text, this is the section, you can replace this with anything that you would like, but for this we actually just didn't replace it with anything at all. And this is the basics of the replace function, of exactly how you can use this. Now for our second example, this is going to be a little bit different, but the basics of this replace function still stays the same. So we are going to do the exact same thing. We are just going to give you another option of how you can use this function. So as I said before, if you like this function and you want to find out more, please let us know in the comment section, because we will then try and create a complete video on this function for you with a lot of possibilities that you can use. So in our results section here, we are simply going to type in the equal sign, and we're going to type out our replace function. And as we have done in example number 1, our alt text is going to be this text here. That's just referencing back to this text to explain to you exactly what is happening. So the next section is our starting number, and for this I am not going to type a physical number into this section. Rather, I'm going to use another function as our starting number, and this is going to be the find function. So I'm going to use the find function to find specific text within our original text, and that would count towards our starting number. So in this instance, let's type out, we want to find, in this example, the net text. So we can see this email address that we have here, and it's at example.net. So we are going to try and create example.com. So instead of typing everything out, you can simply use this replace function in order to get this job done. So as I said, we are going to find this text options here. So in our find function, this is kind of a bonus for everybody. So you're learning not only the replace function, but also the find function as well. But for this, we are then just referencing within what text we need to find this text. So this is just going to be our A5 cell, our original text cell. And once you've referenced that cell, you can close your bracket, and this whole find function will work towards your starting number. And then our next section is the number of characters that we want to replace. So we know that net only has 3 letters, so that's going to be 3 characters that we want to replace. And The next section is going to be our new text that we want to replace this with. So we are going to type out this text in double quotes, and we're just going to type out com. So this will read at example.com instead of example.net. So our new text is going to be com, and once you're done with that, you can just close your bracket and then just hit enter to see the replacement of this text. So I know some of you are wondering, this can seem a bit complicated, but once you get the hang of this function, this is a great function that you can use. And let's just explain exactly here. So the new text isn't limited to 3 characters. You can type out extra information. So as you can see, we typed out, this is now 5 characters. So this is not limited to the original 3 characters, these number of characters that we selected. The number of characters are only a suggested value that we are going to replace. So the 3 that we had in our formula is only 3 characters that we are going to replace, and our new text is, as you can see, typed in here. So this is effectively the replace function, and these are 2 examples of how this function works. So I hope you liked this function, guys, and I hope you liked the 2 functions, or all 3 functions that we discussed throughout this video. If you did, please remember to like the video down below and subscribe to our channel so that you do not miss any of our new content. But until next time, and thank you for watching. Cheers.